sense of suspicion with which urbanize in Joburg or even in Lagos, or even in Harare, this, in terms of how they approach the city and how they approach their interactions with strangers in the city, right? So the geographies of the city are awash with, these simulated forms of interaction. They are awash with, if you have to borrow from Baudrillard, from the simulacra, that reality itself is actually an illusion. Sometimes what you see and you think is reality, it's actually in fact an illusion. Something else might be going on. And what you see on the surface of social interaction might actually be concealing something deeper that is going on. So you always have to, to be on high alert. So even in terms of courtship, this can happen. Like in the case of Kumbulani, who just picked up this girl, engaged with her, but it turned out that that came with a lot of problems. That the girl also, was interested in something else. Including, breaking into his house to steal and destroy his passport. And the story of Kumbulani is interesting because it's, like my own case, it also takes us into the underworld of counterfeitism, where Kumbulani was a joiner and carpenter, and after this incident of the stealing of his passport, he was in so much trouble because he was supposed to travel for work to Mauritius in 1 week's time. And interestingly, what Kumbulani did was to go into Yove and get a counterfeit passport with another name, which is not his original name, and they put on a face of his on that passport. Kumbulani is a Zimbabwean, and he was able to travel to Mauritius with that fake passport and came back. God knows how, but it happened. So it again, this particular experience of Kumbulani drew us into a peep into this underworld of counterfeitism within the spaces of Johannesburg. All right, so in conclusion, what we are just learning from this particular paper is that, everyday risks in our urban spaces in Africa, particularly in these large metropolises such as Johannesburg, Lagos, and in also cities like Harare. I didn't give any example from Harare, but I do have a lot of narratives, urban risks, criminality, and contentment with the stranger or with strangeness all the time, and of course counterfeit economies always somehow generate a sense of suspicion or call for a sense of suspicion. In other words, suspicion becomes a primordial mode of urban being and existence, and a response to and a function of criminal and counterfeit economies in the city. It's a mode of defense. So therefore, we see that these urban spaces are awash with life worlds of suspicion, as my title suggests. Thank you so much.